Swallowed Star 518 Luo Feng and Bolan. Chapter 518 Luo Feng and Bolan. Universe Heavenly Bridge 7th Level. The blue armored man carried a blood-colored blade. Wearing a mask, he coldly gazed at the white-clothed youth. Young man, the Universe Primal Chaos Tablet is the most profound and hardest to study of the 52 tablets. Studying both space and time and going through these tests, your achievements in space can even reach the 9th level. However, in time itself, you only have the skills of level 3 or 4. Let me advise you, go back and study more. Raise your comprehension of time more before coming back. The white-clothed youth was expressionless, his gaze cold. Hua! He brandished the blood blade from behind. The blue armored man shook his head. Wang. The region about became a blur, as space and time were simultaneously affected. The white-clothed youth continued to instantly produce over 10,000 images. However, his head was still pierced. 7th level, failure. In the center of the island, the only one watching this scene was Watchman Bevan. He shook his head and sighed. Too proud, this Bolan is too proud. I estimate that he had been leading far ahead, since he was young, stronger than everyone. Hence, he has an absolute heart of pride. With his comprehension of the space laws, back then during the genius battles, his space comprehension alone far exceeded many sector lords, even comparable to a few Undyings. Such high comprehension of space laws. With such talent, theoretically speaking, the best way is to focus on space itself and put all his attention and time and resources into the space origin laws. This way, he can get stronger than before, amplifying his strengths. That way, he would still have a chance of becoming a space knight. A pity. He's too proud. Hence, before the genius battles, he began to study the wind laws and use it as a stepping stone to studying time. The most important choice in Primal Chaos City is the choosing which of the 52 tablets to train in. Theoretically speaking, our virtual universe company has always respected the choices of the geniuses. However, back then, we made an exception and discussed with him, advising him to spend his time and energy on space. Choosing a tablet that focused only on space. Like Luo Feng's choice, the 9 Universe tablet was very suitable for Bolan, however. He's too proud. Absolute confidence, he didn't even listen. Still choosing the hardest Universe tablet. Watchman Bevan simply sighed. How many people have regretted their choice? Such terrifying level of talent? After Primal Chaos City's training, Luo Feng's Earth body could at most unleash 100 images. However, Bolan, from the genius battle period, he could already unleash 1,000 images. If he studied the 9 Universe tablet, he would have completely comprehended the raindrop and drizzle picture in a short amount of time, going on to study the downpour picture. In terms of space talent, he was far more terrifying than Lian Luo. Pity. The more talented one was, the more proud he would be too. He's rushing, his pride is making him rush. He's finally been caught up by someone of the same generation. Watchman Bevan watched the distant universe Heavenly Bridge from the distant space. Speaking softly, he's probably never ever tasted such a feeling before in his life. At the last period in Primal Chaos City, when Luo Feng passed the 5th level, he rushed to attempt the 6th. Luckily, he succeeded. He managed to keep his pride. However, now, in 2 short years, Luo Feng passed the 6th, and he rushed once again, without even any guarantee to attempt the 7th. Pity. He wasn't as lucky this time. He failed. The 7th level compared to the 6th is simply too much harder. He was defeated in one move. Failure. He's finally been caught up. This may be a good thing for him. Watchman Bevan said softly. It's up to him whether he falls into depression or reflects on himself because of Luo Feng. Yuxiang Mountain was as peaceful as ever. Wuka, Rongjun, and Luo Feng didn't even know of Bolan's attempted failure of the 7th level. While Bolan had received the huge setback and was bearing with it, Luo Feng's mood was extremely good. Absorbing the 2nd crystal was successful. I've comprehended the 12th wonder and now I've passed the 6th level. Luck is on my side. Luo Feng had just had a huge party and eaten a huge feast with his parents, wife and children in the Black Dragon Mountain 9-star bay. After which, he laughed as he arrived at the fantasy ocean. Fantasy Ocean, Luo Feng stood by the ocean. Heart like a mirror. Even if dust landed on the mirror, he would still see clearly. His boundaries and his perspective were all clear before him. As all was clear and untarnished. When it was time to laugh, he would laugh. Time to rage, he would rage. Time to kill. There wouldn't be any hesitation. Heart like a blade, this made Luo Feng's actions all deliberate and to the point. There weren't any hesitation or procrastination. I've been in the huge pit for 2 years, absorbing the invasion of the stronger and stronger killing aura. My willpower, in training under such conditions, is getting more and more sturdy. My consciousness control is also getting stronger. I shall try. The 10th island of the Fantasy Ocean, let's see what happens. Luo Feng smiled, rushing into the sky and swiftly plunging deep into the ocean. Fantasy Ocean, it was currently where Luo Feng had acquired the most points. Before, he had consecutively passed 9 levels, making him acquire a huge amount of points. 100 points. Of which just the 9th level alone was 25,600 points. The 10th was 51,200. As for the points from the Heavenly Bridge were pitiful. Passing the 6th level was only 3,200 points. After all, he already didn't have the 10 times reward from Primal Chaos City. The moment one missed that, it was gone. This was also why Luo Feng was approached by others during the classes to exchange for points. Fantasy Ocean, Heavenly Bridge, these were all hard to pass. Only thing was Luo Feng's consciousness was powerful, Golden Horned Beast's consciousness. His willpower was even more terrifying, personal training from his 2 brothers and natural talent. Hence he could have such achievements in the Fantasy Ocean. Fantasy Ocean Island 10. So, Luo Feng descended and landed on a peak of a 100m mountain on the island. It's come. Luo Feng focused and looked up at the sky. Finally, that vast illusion followed with the terrifying pressure descended. This endless pressure was almost like a land and sky covering mountains smashing down. However, Luo Feng's willpower caused his consciousness to focus and condense, constantly.
Condensing into an iron rock, his consciousness and willpower was one state of mind. Rumble! The pressure of the mountain crashed down, clashing against that incredibly sturdy mental state. It held strong for a brief moment before finally crumbling and completely dispersing. The pressure of the 10th island is simply too strong. I've had quite an improvement over these 2 years. However, this little improvement, against the pressure of the 10th island, it still crumbles into nothing. I have to work harder. This 10th island has over 50k points, it wouldn't be so easy to acquire it. Luo Feng didn't seem affected by the failure at all. Because he wasn't like Bolan. Bolan had always been number 1. Luo Feng, however, had never been number 1 before. On Earth, he wasn't number 1 amongst the students. After becoming a warrior, the most outstanding at that time was Hong and Thunder God. Even after entering the elite training, he still wasn't number 1. And whether it was the elimination, universe country matches and the final pinnacle fights, Luo Feng was never number 1. As he was never number 1, failure to him was a chance to reflect on why he failed. It was a chance to learn and improve. One of them had always been number 1, the Universe Genius Competition's most outstanding genius, while the other one had never been number 1. Even Babata, who knew him well, thought it would be hard for him to make it into the top 1,000 of the universe. Now he was neck and neck. Blood River Continent, the most mysterious and vast region, the ancient god ruins. Huge pit quarters. It's been over 2 years since I begun training in this huge pit. My mind had been on training mode since then. When I first came, I was prepared to go deep into the huge pit to explore. However, I haven't done so these 2 years. Luo Feng stood at the side of the pathway, gazing into the endless aura before him, and surveying the endless depths below. This was a terrifyingly huge pit. If just the outer layer had a diameter of close to 10,000 kilometers, what about the depths? He didn't even know. I'll take a good look at what's there. Luo Feng's thoughts moved, and the normal black rock at the side of the cave immediately vanished into his internal world. This rock was actually the Masha clan transformed. The Masha clansman could transform into anything. Its natural talent allowed his energy to morph into anything. Let's go down. Luo Feng jumped and followed the terrifying gravity down, descending further and further. These endless depths had a diameter that reached 10,000 kilometers. What about the depths then? It's already 5,000 kilometers. The mad winds howled in his ears as he continued to descend. He was shocked within. I've already descended 5,000 kilometers, I still haven't seen the bottom of the pit? The thickness of the aura is still the same. Who? The shocking speed of which Luo Feng descended at caused great resistance. The gravity and his resistance finally equaled, and he descended at a stable speed. Ah, it's changed. The thickness of the aura has changed. Luo Feng was shocked as he descended. This is about 9,000 kilometers in depth. Kill. The endless killing intent rushed into his consciousness. That powerful rush was twice what it was before. Not just the killing willpower, even the strength of the thickness was about twice. Luo Feng continued to descend. This huge pit, just how deep is it? Luo Feng continued to descend right into the depths. The thickness of the aura is slowly increasing. The more he descended, the more he felt the thickness increase. Right now the thickness of the aura has already reached about 3 times of my huge pit quarters. He had already descended close to 15,000 kilometers. Not right. Luo Feng's expression changed. Shua. His entire being in the endless depths suddenly stopped from his terrifying speed before. His expression was heavy. Frowning heavily, it's weaker, the thickness of the aura is weaker? Since starting his descent from about 9,000 kilometers down, it was 2 times stronger than before, and it increased more and more until it was 3 times. That was the peak. When he descended further, the aura started getting weaker. The region with the strongest aura is actually the center of the pit and not the bottom? Luo Feng was curious, following which he flew upwards to look for the region with the thickest aura.